Hello, piano students. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through some of my thought processes in reharmonizing the song titled Amazing Grace. Several of my current students have asked me, how do you harmonize a melody? And it reminded me that I'm almost finished, actually I am finished with writing a book called The 10 Steps to Reharmonizing Any Melody. So I'm just going to walk you through some of the basic concepts, and we're going to have some fun here. Okay, so here's the first level, the first of the 10 steps to reharmonizing any melody, or to harmonizing any melody, is to talk about and harmonize with the primary chords. So let's talk about, we're in the key of G. Turn up the volume. Okay, so we're going to harmonize using the primary chords, the 1, the 4, and the 5. That's the starting point, that's the foundation. So here we are. 1 chord, stays on the 1 chord, goes back to the 4, back to 1, stays on the 1, there's the 5, right? 1, 4, back to 5, sound 1. Could do 4 here, then 5, 1, back to 1. So how do you know whether to play the 1, 4, or 5? Basically, the melody will be part of the chord that you choose. So, melody is G. We have two choices. Either the G chord, the 1 chord, or the 4. Most songs will start with the 1. The only chord that has a B in it is the G, so that tells us to play the G chord. Now, here we could play the G, but also this is part of the C chord, so you can hear it going to the C. Back to the D, 1, 1. There's my 5. Okay. Back to 1. Oftentimes the melody will outline the chord. That's clearly outlining the notes of the G major. Well, we could try the C there, but that D is not really part of it, so it's still the 1 chord. The only chord that has an E in it is the 4 chord, the C. Back to 1, 1. Now here we could play the C chord, because that's part of the 7th of the C major 7th chord, just for a little variety. There's the 5, back to 1. Okay, now, because this is a sacred song, a spiritual song, let's say we wanted to keep it in the mode of classical or traditional, so we could do some inversions. For example, this is still G chord here, but let's do an inversion. Alright, so that's G with a B bass. Alright. Back to the G. I'm sorry. G, first inversion. Now here's my C. Back home. Alright. Let's do that's not quite right, so okay, so that was a 6 for 1. We know that we can substitute the 6 chord for the 1 chord. 6 and sub for 1. So instead of going to 1, here's an inversion. Back to, we could go to a C inversion. Right? Back to the 1. Okay, so we're basically sticking with the primary chords, but we're doing their inversions. So root, first inversion, we could do root, C chord, or we could do C inverted. Now we could do the 5 chord inverted, going into the 6. Okay, so one of the concepts is harmonize with the primary chords. Another concept is, can we invert those to make a different sound? There's another inversion of the G. Okay, but we're basically sticking with the primary chords. Okay, let's play the whole thing. So it'll be something like this. Another inversion of C. Right, inversion of D. Okay, so that's an example of basically not really coloring up the chords, just inverting the primary triads, primary chord triads. Okay, now what if we decided to do a diatonic movement? In other words, 1, 2. In other words, get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of motion. Well, the 1 chord. Now the 2. This could be the 3, or it could be the 1 inverted. Let's try 1 inverted. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves yet. So there's the 2, the 1, but inverted. So 1, 2, back to 1 inverted. So we had a nice smooth bass line. G, A, B, C, D. And diatonic movement. The 1's major, 2 is minor. The 3, or the first inversion of the 1. The 4 to 5 to 1. Okay, let's keep that inversion movement. Okay, so another concept is a smooth diatonic chord movement. Now if we took this to the jazz sound, we might do add a little color. 7th, A minor 7, A minor 7, 2 chord, to the 3 chord, minor 7, 4 chord, 5, 1, right? Here's a 5 of 2. There's my 5. G major 9, 1. Here's 2, 5 of 4. 2. We could do some suspensions. Okay, so the basic level is triads, the primary chords. Then we can go into inversions of triads, or we can do a diatonic, kind of a jazz thing, where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or 1, 2, 3. You can also do a plagal cadence where we go minor 4 to 1. Right? Okay, so there's all these concepts, basically 10 concepts. We can also substitute 3 or 6 for 1, for example. Now, next chord is typically 1, but we can go to 6. There's my 6th chord, E minor. Now watch this circle movement. To A, to D, to G. Okay? So 6 or 8 concepts, really understanding 6 or 8 arranging or harmonically interesting concepts will take you very, very far away. Now, what if we wanted to add a little bit of some rootless voicings, for example? Let's do the diatonic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1. There's a rootless A7, 13. 13. Right? Okay, so a lot of reharmonization is what is my target, okay? What is my target? My target here is the 4 chord. Okay, I know I want that. So I could do 2-5 of that C chord, 2-5 of 4. There's D minor, G dominant, 2-5 of C major, which is the 4 chord. Again, 1, here's the 2 of C major, the 5 of C major, the 1 of C major. Just depends on the kind of sound you want, okay? There's also the diatonic where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of 1, 6. We didn't talk about suspending chords. When you have a dominant chord, you can typically do a sus4. This is A7. We could do a sus4. Resolve that 4 to 3. Same thing here. This is a D dominant 7. We could do 4 and then the 3. Resolve that sus4. Chromatic dominance. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a good foundation. But the really important thing is to get the primary chords, even though they're boring as all get out. That's the basis for substitution, right? If you have a 1 chord, you can try to sub 6 or 3 for the 1, okay? And then, of course, 5, or the dominance, the 5 chords of certain target chords. Target chord meaning any correct known chord. If I know I'm going to C here, I can do the 5 of C to get there. So, right, there's the 5 of C. Okay, it's all about where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you can't get there. But if you know where you're going, if you have a target, a known chord you really want, you can get there many ways. You can go the 5 of that chord is G7, or you can go 2-5 of that target C major. 2, 5, 1. You can do a chromatic dominant. Not quite as good. Mostly works, but this time it wasn't great because the melody is the raised 5th of the chromatic dominant. So I would probably stick with the 2-5 of the target. 1, 2. That was the 5 of the 6 chord. Didn't work great because of the melody, but it typically will. Here's the 5 of the 5 chord. A is the 5 of the D, right? Or we could do 3 for 1. I can kind of hear it. Interesting stuff. So that's some of the possibilities of harmonizing and reharmonizing Amazing Grace. Okay, have fun, practice hard. Hope you enjoyed this video.